recap of WWE RAW for 2020, of course. This was the December 28th edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you for watching. Shout out to the chat room for tuning in live, and shout out to everybody else watching as well on demand. Let's go ahead and get started. Unfortunately, some sad news over the weekend. The wrestling world lost one of its most beloved figures. Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, whatever you want to call him, tragically passed away at just the age of 41. I feel so awful for his kids. Shocker, even though something was going on with him, we knew that he was off television, but we did not know why. Appears he was dealing with lung issues that ultimately took his life, not COVID related, according to his wife. A somber few days here for everybody in the wrestling community. We kicked off Raw with a graphic for Luke Harper, and then Drew McIntyre made his entrance, and he started off with a reference to Luke Harper saying, "It's Monday, you know what that means. Yeah, yeah, yeah." And Tom Phillips also used the "It's Monday, you know what that means" line. And there were a few other tributes to Luke Harper throughout the show, which I will talk about as we get to it. The 90s guy with a $5 super chat, first one of the evening. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. He says, "Hey Aaron, Merry Christmas. I just wanted to say, no, Randy, no. Raw was pretty lame. Was that a cliffhanger?" He says, "RIP Brodie Lee. Cheers from Australia." I will talk about that at the end and try to answer your question best I can. That ending was something else. I'll just say that. Stay tuned for my thoughts on the end of Raw with Randy Orton. Anyways, Drew McIntyre thanked the fans for having his back. He was voted Superstar of the Year. He brought up Sheamus versus Keith Lee to determine the number one contender for the championship. Sheamus made his way to the ring and said that what he did to Keith Lee, giving him the bro kick at the end of last week's show, was fair game because it happened after the match. Keith Lee showed up and he said that when the bell rings, he will force an apology out of Sheamus, and warned Drew McIntyre that Sheamus might stab him in the back just like he did everyone else. And Sheamus said accusations like that is the reason why he attacked Lee in the first place. McIntyre tried to settle things down. He had the referee come to the ring, and we had our first match of the evening, number one contendership. McIntyre was there on commentary for the match. Back and forth here between the two of them. Sheamus tried to take Lee down, going after his legs. He missed a bro kick, and then Lee did his crossbody, got a near fall. Sheamus came back, hit the white noise for a near fall, but then Lee hit the spirit bomb, picked up the 1-2-3 victory, and next week on Raw, the first Raw of 2021, it will be Drew McIntyre defending against Keith Lee. Should be an interesting match. I'm a little surprised it wasn't Sheamus, although at the same time, I still want Sheamus to be saved for maybe the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. I'll be surprised if it's WrestleMania, but I want to see that match happen on pay-per-view. The only thing, though, is Sheamus needs to be building up some momentum. You know, he lost this match, and now how do you justify him getting a match? Maybe he does win the Royal Rumble for a second time. TJS with a $1 super chat left the crying sticker. Maybe that's in reference to Brodie Lee / Luke Harper. Oofman Entertainment says, save Sheamus for the Rumble. I'll be surprised if he wins the Rumble, but hell, that would be a way to get him a rightfully deserved number one contendership instead of just randomly saying, oh, Sheamus gets a title match, or he beats one person, gets a title match. And after this, we had a stare down between Lee and McIntyre. Match was good. We had Elias backstage playing guitar with everybody's favorite wrestler, Jackson Riker. Somebody was pounding on the door, though, and that person turned out to be Omis, along with AJ Styles. AJ was not happy about this guitar playing. And Elias said that AJ is just mad because he lost the TLC. And Styles took offense to this and challenged Elias to a match and vowed to break Elias's fingers. We had The Miz one-on-one with Gran Metalik. And the storyline here was that The Miz just wasn't really into it. He was upset about losing his Money in the Bank contract, and he got very angry at one point. Metalik took advantage of this and pulled off an upset victory, defeating The Miz. And there was a follow-up to this with The Miz, so stay tuned for that. As far as Metalik winning goes, why not use somebody else? I mean, will we really see a follow-up to this? Gran Metalik, is he going to get some kind of push now? Probably not. So the win, does it mean anything? Doubt it. Doubt it's going to do anything for Metalik. You might as well have somebody beat The Miz that you're actually planning to elevate. Not a guy who chases R-Truth around for the 24/7 title. Just saying. Next up, we had Dana Brooke versus Shayna Baszler. Shayna went after the arm of Dana Brooke as she does. She twisted it. She slammed Brooke's arm onto the apron. Brooke was able to make a brief comeback, but then Shayna got the Kira Fuda clutch on the outside of the ring. Shayna broke the count and started attacking Mandy Rose. Rose managed to escape having her arm shattered, and Dana managed to take advantage, get Shayna back in the ring, hit a spinning neck breaker for a near fall, but then Shayna came back with a knee strike, put on the Kira Fuda clutch, and scored the 1-2-3 victory over a very game Mandy Rose. Match was pretty solid. Went on for a bit, so Dana got her offense in. Wasn't a total squash match or anything. Good stuff here. We had a recap of the Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss Playground segment from last week, and then we had a follow-up Playground segment. We had Alexa talking about how he built this playground for her, and she cannot wait for him to see it when he comes back. Maybe he's waiting for Legends Night to make his return. His idol, his hero, is Hulk Hogan. He invited Randy Orton down, or she invited Randy Orton down, I should say. Orton's music played, but he did not appear. It played a second time, did not appear. And then Randy Orton finally appeared in the Firefly Funhouse. He attacked the puppets. He ripped the head off Rambling Rabbit. And Alexa had enough of this. She challenged Randy Orton to what? We did not know. A match. Wasn't exactly made clear what this challenge was about. But regardless of what it was, Randy Orton accepted this mystery challenge. We had a recap of Nia Jax attacking Charlotte Flair back in June, the angle that wrote her off of television. Charlotte cut a promo to hype up the match. And then we had AJ Styles versus Elias. Jackson Riker attempted to interfere, but Omis made sure that did not happen. Elias hit a drift away, but Styles kicked out of it. And then Elias hit a TKO, but once again, Styles kicked out, and Styles came back, picked up the win with the phenomenal forearm. Another good match here on Raw. We had footage shown of Ricochet on Raw Talk, and during that segment, he talked about how he cannot continue to be the one person that gets stepped over, and he might have to try something different. We had Ricochet versus Ali, and it's the usual story. These guys, they have great chemistry together. Match was really good, but I just don't care about the storyline. I have like no interest in the storyline. And that really sucks because these guys, they tear it up every time they're in there. And it's the same song and dance, you know. You got Retribution on the outside. They're interfering. Referee distraction. They're double teaming Ricochet. He eventually started fighting off everybody, and he did this spinning DDT to T-Bar. It was supposed to be on the apron, but he overshot it, and T-Bar ended up being DDT'd all the way to the floor. Poor T-Bar almost got badly hurt from that, but fortunately he appeared to be okay. And he went for the shooting star back in the ring on Ali, but Ali got his knees up. Ali put on his submission finisher and defeated Ricochet, a very game Ricochet, who had to fight 4-on-1. And then after the match, Ali once again asked the question, Ricochet, is he going to join Retribution? Ricochet responded by saying that he will not join Retribution, hit the recoil on Ali, and took off. So this storyline must continue. And by the way, wasn't there a similar storyline with the Hurt Business trying to recruit Ricochet, and he had to do a storyline where if he beat somebody, they would leave him alone? Is that how this one's going to end too? Like, come on, this is just recycled crap. You're recycling the same storyline you did 2 months ago. It sucks. But the match was awesome. It very much feels like WCW 2000, where you got some great workers with a really crappy storyline. We had Drew McIntyre cutting a promo about Keith Lee and said he's glad Keith Lee is stepping it up, and that's what it takes to be a top guy. And Keith Lee can beat anybody, but he's not going to beat McIntyre. Good stuff here. We had another backstage promo with Nia Jax. She had her New Year's resolutions. She's going to end Charlotte's run. Her and Shayna are going to regain the tag team titles. And Nia said she is going to enter the Royal Rumble match. Shayna said she liked the idea, and it was announced that both of them will be entering the Women's Royal Rumble match. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, would you rather have a good story with a bad match? Actually, I would. I know that might not be the more popular answer, but Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, one of my all-time favorite matches, and technically it was not good. But who cared? The storyline, more so the characters than the storyline. The storyline had its flaws, like Hogan trying to murder The Rock with a semi, if you remember that one. But how about this one? Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. The match itself was pretty terrible. They did pull off the body slam, but the match itself was not good. The storyline was extremely compelling, though, and people still remember it 30 plus years later. And yes, it is a 30 women Royal Rumble, to answer Paulo's question in the chat room. Same with the men. 2 30-person Rumble matches on one show, probably with no live audience. I'm not getting my hopes up on that one at this point. We had the Hurt Business arrive and do their usual spiel where they messed around with this guy standing around on his cell phone, and they shoved him to the ground or scared him to the ground, whatever they did. We had Angel Garza backstage, and he was interviewed by Charlie. He talked about his ups and downs, and R-Truth bumped into him, knocking the Rose to the ground, which got smashed up. R-Truth was chased away by the 24/7 guys. This was the only 24/7 title segment, and maybe 10 seconds too much, in my opinion. Garza ended up giving the the ruined rose to Charlie and said, "It's the thought that counts." We had an 8-man tag team match. We had the New Day teaming up with the Hardy Bros against the Hurt Business. And before the match, Matt Riddle proposed a couple of names, the Little Brownies, which was turned down for copyright reasons. And then he had another name, the Positively Hard Bros. Yeah. So anyways, another good match here with these guys. Xavier Woods was wearing a Brodie Lee armband, which was very cool, a nice tribute to him. And during the match, Xavier did the Brodie Lee discus lariat, and we once again got a yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was from Samoa Joe on commentary. Before this match, by the way, I forgot to mention that Lashley officially declared himself for the Royal Rumble. And I'm not sure how these guys all declare themselves and why WWE just doesn't announce 30 participants. Whatever. It's nitpicking. I mean, WWE does it every single year. And during the match, the babyfaces got the upper hand on Lashley. It took 4 of them to get him out of the ring. He got pissed off. After the break, pretty standard stuff here. The heels had the upper hand. Kofi got a hot tag. And then we had Jeff Hardy tagged in, and everybody started hitting their big moves. Lashley tagged in, and when you know it, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe 4th week in a row, Lashley has tapped out Jeff Hardy with the Hurt Lock. This is becoming the new Lana going through a table by Nia Jax. Every week now, Jeff Hardy is tapping out to the Hurt Lock. And every week now, it's the new combination of the same guys doing a match every week. Now it's the Hurt Business fighting the New Day and or Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle every single week. And now Jeff Hardy's tapping out every single week. After the match was over, Matt Riddle took a shot at Lashley and then took off. What a brave babyface he is. And I guess we're going to see Riddle versus Lashley. And yeah, I'm not sure what's up with Jeff Hardy, why he's tapping out every week to Lashley. Why are these guys even wrestling every single week? The match was good, but can't we get some variety, get something different so Jeff doesn't have to tap out every week? Very weird. And speaking of weird, or WCW 2000 like, backstage we had Adam Pearce approach The Miz and John Morrison. The Miz was very distraught about his Money in the Bank contract situation, and Adam Pearce revealed that Miz is right. John Morrison cashed it in, and the official document states that the person who owns the contract must be the one to cash it in. Nobody else can cash in on his behalf. So thus, that cash-in was completely invalid. Now, does this mean that AJ Styles gets another rematch? This would actually explain AJ Styles getting a rematch now. You know, we get these rematches all the time for no reason, but as long as WWE is giving The Miz the contract back, then technically AJ has a claim to a rematch because that cash-in was invalid in the first place. So yeah, Miz is officially, once again, the Money in the Bank contract holder, and I guess he can maybe be the first guy to fail twice. We'll see. It was pretty awkward. I'm not really surprised, though. People did mention this when it happened, that maybe WWE would go this route. Curtis Butler says this was a stupid segment. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. He says, does this mean The Miz has a chance of winning the title? I mean, he always has a chance. So I'm saying there's a chance. But yeah, I would say it's highly unlikely in all likelihood. Now, will this be my last highly unlikely of 2020? Could be. We got one more live stream, a no DQ review coming up. Maybe I can fit in one more. The game is on 100 with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. He says, Miz gets the Money in the Bank again is ass backwards. This needs to end now before it's too late. Yeah, it very much screams WCW 2000, but whatever. At this point, I don't care. I feel bad for The Miz. He's probably going to lose a second time if I had to make a prediction. And Uthman is like, oh, geez, Money in the Bank not done yet. Yep. We had our main event segment, which was Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss. And Randy Orton said, well, he didn't say anything. It was Alexa Bliss that called him out. And Orton did get into the ring and finally said, where is he? She, instead of answering him, she went to the outside of the ring and grabbed a present. She brought the present into the ring. The announcers were like, wait a minute, Christmas is over. And she pulled out a gas can from the present. She had matches. She started pouring gasoline on the mat. And she laid down in the middle of the ring and said that she was challenging him to do to her what he did to him at TLC. Randy did not do anything. She started getting very frustrated. She said he did not have the guts to do it, and he's nothing but a little bitch. She then poured the gasoline over herself. Randy grabbed the matches. He said he wants to do it, but that's what she wants him to do, and he's conflicted because he doesn't like doing what people tell him to do. However, he said maybe he will do it and send her where the Fiend is, in hell or wherever. The lights started to flicker and go out as if the Fiend was going to show up, and then Randy Orton was standing in the ring with the lit match, and he moved the match towards the camera, and then the show went off the air. That was our cliffhanger for 2020. Did Randy Orton set Alexa Bliss on fire? Did the Fiend make the save? You have to tune in next week to find out. Remember last year's cliffhanger? The wedding of Lashley and Lana with Liv Morgan returning and the cake in the face and all that stuff? That was last year's ending to 2019. This year, we get Randy Orton with a match, and we don't know if he set Alexa Bliss on fire yet. Rob Klein, Robbie Vice, says, did he set her on fire? Who gives a shit? The next Raw will still be borderline unwatchable. We'll see on that. Next week is the Legends week. They're counting on a big number. Dr. NXT Scorpio says, am I a bad wrestling fan for saying I wanted to see Orton set Bliss on fire? LOL. Well, I think the better question is, if that had happened, how would people react? Like, considering that a wrestler died for real the other day, a very beloved wrestler, I mean, regardless, even if he wasn't loved, for somebody to really die, and then you're doing a storyline the next 2 days after the fact, and they're teasing that somebody's going to be set on fire and presumably burned to death. You know, it's a little awkward to watch. I mean, I definitely thought about Brodie Lee when this was going on, so I know it's over the top and cartoonish and everything, but still, you know, that idea that Randy might actually set a person on fire 2 days after somebody died for real, it felt a little weird. The rest of the show was solid. The wrestling was good. Uthman Entertainment with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, must make an Aaron highly unlikely in all likelihood shirt and a Jeff Meacham here's the thing shirt. Hashtag merch money. Well, there actually was a shirt saying here's the thing over on the Oh No DQ store, but maybe I'll upload that shirt to the new store right now. The one over at Teespring. And Mike B with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mike B. Thank you guys for your super chats. He says, I know you already covered this. Sorry. That poor Rambling Rabbit. Randy, you rat bastard. Yeah, I felt bad for Rambling Rabbit when Randy Orton ripped his hat off. Poor Rambling Rabbit is always getting the stuffing knocked out of him, or his head ripped off, or he gets bitten into pieces by one of the other puppets. He's always got something terrible happening to him. He is the Kenny of the Firefly Funhouse. And yeah, this was definitely a cliffhanger to make people tune in for next week's show. Will it work? I guess we'll find out. Next week is the new year, and WWE's trying to get those numbers up for the Rumble and WrestleMania season. We'll see if it works out for them. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. He says, prediction, Charlotte versus Bliss versus Asuka at WrestleMania. I would be surprised if that happens. I would like to see Alexa get a title match, though, rather than Charlotte. I feel like it's going to be Charlotte, but I'd like to see Alexa Bliss challenge Asuka for the championship at WrestleMania. Have Alexa win the Rumble. I know she's one of the smaller women on the roster, but if Rey Mysterio can win the Royal Rumble, then Alexa Bliss can win it. And the Jeff Meacham Network, good old JM, Jeff Meacham with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Jeff. He says, very appreciative of everyone tuning in to talk wrestling prior to Raw and to Aaron's stream. Fun stuff on the Jeff Meacham Network all week and the 1-year anniversary stream on Friday. That's right, and I will go ahead and plug it for Jeff. This Friday, Jeff will be doing a special live stream. It will be simulcast on various channels, including this one, the No DQ YouTube channel, and I will be appearing on it. So maybe I can entice you guys to tune in for that. I will be joining up with some other Team No DQ members to chat with Jeff about the past year in wrestling, talk about what we'd like to see in 2021. So tune in for that. That will be on Friday prior to Smackdown. And Darren Frazier with a $2 super chat says, should have just punted Bliss instead. Yeah, I would have been fine with that, but they decided to go the cliffhanger route for reasons. They got to get those numbers up, and they'll do whatever it takes at this point, I guess, teasing that somebody got set on fire. I mean, to me, it just felt very bait and switch, you know, because I'm guessing the Fiend showed up. I hope they have a good payoff for it. My guess is they probably will not, but we'll see. Maybe he set the cameraman on fire. Maybe Alexa Bliss disappeared and Randy was moving the match towards the cameraman and set that guy on fire instead. We'll have to wait next week and find out. So what did you guys think about Monday Night Raw, the final show? I thought it was fine. The wrestling was really good on the show. Not a whole lot of storyline development, but it was all right. I'm going to give it a C+ this week. I think it will be easily topped by Dynamite, which is going to be a tribute show for Brodie Lee. They're scrapping their plans for night one of the New Year's Smash. They're going to be postponing that until next week. Next week will be part 1, and then the week after will be part 2. This week will be a Brodie Lee tribute show on Dynamite, and I will be recapping that this Wednesday. So that will be one of the last streams of the new year, maybe the last one. We were talking about doing a Great No DQ debate on Thursday night. Not sure if Virtue and Adrian are on board with that, but stay tuned. If it does happen, it'll be Thursday night. Rob Klein gives the show a D+. No surprise there. Bruce with a D. Tripton Puffenbarger with a C-. Kim Hall with a C-. Caleb Jacobs is back with a B. Amanda with a B. And Rob Klein says Ricochet equals a D+ show at best. Man, that's even harsher than me giving a letter grade down for Stephanie's music. Tic Tat Tat with a B-. Brent with a C. And Michael Wayne with a C. Ace and his familiar vlogs with a B. And Kev with a C+. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, what is more delicious, bro nuts or bootios? I would personally go with bro nuts, and I think Santa Claus would too. Santa Claus, he loves the bro nuts, from what I've been told. I know he denied it when he was on the live stream, but I think he's a bro nuts kind of guy. Bootios, not the biggest fan of Bootios. Josh Mansfield with a $5 super chat says, "Hey Aaron, sorry I'm late. Put this towards the wedding. Love you guys." Well, thank you for that, Josh. I appreciate the super chat. And we'll see when that wedding takes place. Hopefully once things start to get back to normal, we can actually plan something. That would be nice. But, sometimes you just got to go with the flow and things happen and you gotta just be patient. So that was Raw, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the live stream tonight. I appreciate everybody's viewership and support. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comments section with your take on Raw, what you liked, what you didn't like. Let me know in the regular comments section on YouTube and just spread the word. Tell a friend and stay tuned. No DQ review coming up Tuesday night. Wednesday night we got Dynamite. Thursday night maybe a debate. Stay tuned. And then Friday night to kick off the new year, Jeff Meacham will have a live stream and then I'll be back for Smackdown. Busy week ahead. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay positive, be safe, and I will see you guys next time.